are already in our chapter 2. Alright, for this biological psychology. Okay, so I'm glad again that you came here to be part of this session, no? And I believe na every day that you stick, no, to getting up and then to participate in your classes, no matter how hard it is, it's already, no, it's an A for the effort. And having this another na push, no, to do the activities that your teacher gives you, it's another plus point. So I hope that you keep going, no? And we are here. We are together, working together so that we learn and we'll have fun in biopsych. Okay, so now let's go to the PowerPoint. But before that, I have a question before I forget, no? Did you ever have an experience wherein you were asked, okay, so is intelligence or my personality, is it from my parents or is it from my friends or the things that I watch, okay, or my background, no, the school that I am in for intelligence, no? So that's the thing that we will be talking about here. And I've been asked a lot also of that, mainly on aspects of intelligence, no? Kasi mga anak nila, they will ask, yeah, is it really coming from us, the parents? Is there something that we can do, no, to improve? So let's see. Let's look at our topic today. And our topic today is evolution, genetics, and experience. So thinking about the biology of behavior. Alright. So the topics that we will be talking about today are the following. So thinking about the biology of behavior from dichotomies to interaction. Then we also have evolution, human evolution, the fundamental of genetics, behavioral development, the interaction of genetic factors and experience. And lastly, the genetics of human psychological differences. Alright, so this is the question now that I posed earlier. So we have a tendency that we simply have a black and white explanation of things, no? Is it physiological? Is it psychological? Or is it inherited? Or is it learned? But these questions are commonly misguided. Okay, they are common, but they are misguided as well. So, yeah, and it may lead to certain unfortunate, no, na mga consequences. So, let's track back to how many years ago, hundreds of years ago, no? We have the mathematician, scientist, and also a theorist, Rene Descartes. He proposed that the Cartesian dualism, wherein the universe, no, consists of two elements, the physical matter and the human mind. So the human mind, we have the soul, self, or spirit. So this actually was a very bold move, no, and kasi during that time the zeitgeist, no, or the intellectual climate focuses more on the Christian, no, Christian point of view, the Roman Catholic point of view, na the universe is made by God, no, and it's like blasphemous na magkaroon ng ganitong notion. And there's also another one that I will tell you later kung sino pa yung na-exile. Okay? So, according to the Cartesian Dualism, mind and brain are viewed as separate entities. So, right now, maybe you will say, Ma'am Grace, it's just the same, it's a no-brainer because it's a given, no? It's a fact. But way back in a different age, it's really a big, no? Kumbaga, it's a big heresy, kumbaga yung tawagin. However, after Renaissance, no, happened, wherein people wanted to know more about the physical world, no, to observe empirically, not just to use certain speculations, no. So that's why there were advent, no, of different kinds of disciplines, no, during the Renaissance period. So another person who claimed that there is thoughts in our minds, there is thoughts in the brain, is Julien Offroy de la Mettrie. So he was also, it was really controversial that time that he was exiled. Okay. Another is when it comes, no, yung before it was the physiological versus psychological. So next is it inherited or learned? We know that the father of behaviorism, si John B. Watson, he really firmly believed that all behavior was a product of learning. So he was even had this bold statement na if you give me 12 infants, I can make them the best, no, lawyers, the best people or the worst people, like murderers. On the other hand, the other extreme, ethology, no, study of animal behavior in the wild and focuses on the instinctive or the nature behaviors. So those are two extremes. So there are problems, no, in the mind-brain dualism, on the traditional dichotomies. Kasi nga, for example, this man, no, si Oliver Sacks case. He was the person in the part of our book na he thought na there was legs, separate legs on the bed, and when he tried to throw it, he was with the legs. So his case is asomatognosia, which is typically has an involvement in the damage of our right parietal lobe. So we can see here na there's an organic cause in the brain and also a psychological impact also on the perception of the person. Okay? Another problem is that even, no, what we call the lower species to us, they also present psychological human abilities, just like in the Gallup's research on chimp awareness, when they put a red mark on the faces, no, the chimps were able to look at themselves in the mirror and to find, no, to touch that part, and even to touch the mirror to really know if it's them, no. So there is that part na they also have this psychological capabilities. Okay? So it's another problem kasi we cannot really have superiority, no, or over other animals, and knowing na sabihin na lang natin na we are lower, no, they are lower to us. The fact that even though they are lower to us, they possess this kind of complex psychological ability. How much more, no, yung tayo na human beings. So here is an illustration of showing that the consequences, no, or disadvantages of having traditional dichotomies of nature or nurture naman. So those are yung first, yung psychological versus physiological, na naman yung nature or nurture. So we can see here on the illustration, number 1 is evolution. We know that there are certain behaviors, no, and behavior influencing genes that were passed on from one generation to another, and it manifests on the genes, and actually experience modifies the expression, no, of this genes on an individual, and each individual's genes initiate a unique program of neural development. Okay, so the genes manifests in a unique neural program, and the development of each individual's nervous system depends on the interaction with the environment. Okay, so as we can see there, no, there is environmental factors that may also affect in the development of our nervous system. Each individual's current behavioral capacities and tendencies are determined by its unique patterns of neural activity. So, yeah, some of which are experienced as thoughts, feelings, memories, and etc. So we know, no, na our behavioral capacities have unique patterns of are determined by unique patterns of neural activity, as said earlier. And next, no, each individual's current behavior arises out of interactions among its ongoing patterns of neural activity and its perception of the current situation. So may factor pa rin, no, on how we view it. And the success of the individual's behavior influences the likelihood that the genes will be passed on to the future generations. Okay, so ganyan. There is really a lot of factors that impact the behavior other than genetics or learning. Meron din yung sa environment and the interaction in between. Alright? So, let's look at the lens of human evolution. Okay, so parang this is one of the things that we will look at, na makikita natin na there is really interaction between genes and also the environment. So one is yung mga fossil evidence of evolution, then yung mga structural similarities that we have, no, suggesting that we have common ancestors, yung impact ng selective breeding and direct observation of evolution in progress. So here are some examples to this, no? We can see na merong mga nakuhang fossils of the earlier humans, and we have seen yung pag-evolve on the structure of the skull, no? And it suggests also na there is a significant change also on the brain. Okay, and here we have the human hands and also the wings. We have the same, no, na structural similarities, but we are different, no? Parang we have a diverse species. And this only means na it seems like we have a common ancestor. Then, just like these dogs, no, if we breed them and other plants, magkakaroon talaga ng changes. And lastly, on a present age, no, yung na mataan na evolution in progress in the finch, no, na species of birds. Kasi there came an 18-month drought on the Galapagos Islands, and what was just left there was a large and difficult to eat seeds. So given na they have to adapt to this situation, na yung environment na mismo yung sa kanila na Okay, we are not, you know, we don't have other ways to survive but this. So, yung beaks nila increased in size. Alright, so that's also true in humans, no? In human behavior. And we know that yung fitness, ito yung sinasabi, yung ginagamit na term on natural selection, na the fittest are the ones who survive, and it doesn't have to be the strongest or the most intelligent, but it's the one who can adapt. Okay? And in the same way also, as I have said in our first meeting, that just like right now, we have a pandemic, no? And actually, the most people who can adapt to the situation, who can be proactive in this situation, are the ones who will survive. Than those who are, they're intelligent, but they can't really accept, no, and look into where they can work on something, or the strongest, if ganon, maging they will not use it on their advantage para maka-adapt sila. So that's why in our class we adopt, right? And one of which is having these lectures on pre-recorded. Alright, so there are obvious reasons why physical features can be used, or that can contribute to fitness, no? And other behaviors. First, of course, to find food for survival and avoid predation. There are less obvious, just like social dominance and courtship displays. So just like yung mga bulls, no? Na bull, elephant, seal, wherein they portrayed kung sino yung pinaka mataas, siya yung mas nagko-copulate, and then those who are smaller, lesser talaga yung ano nila for copulation. And we know that copulation is to sire more offsprings, and ano talaga yung line, no, ng family. And of course, courtship displays, kung it will lead na to copulation, same process as well, same reason or rationale. Alright, so now we go on to we are done looking into the basics of human evolution, no? And we will look into how we become what we are right now. Okay? So 600 million years ago, the very first na complex multicellular water-dwelling organism appeared. So that's the story of evolution. And after 150 million years later, the first chordates evolved. So they have dorsal nerve cords, and they are vertebrates. So meaning they have spinal bones. So yung pinakaunang mga vertebrates are the primitive bony fishes. And they evolved to become amphibians, no? 410 million years ago. So the first bony fishes started to venture out of the water, and you can check your book, nandun yung illustration niya, and it's really amazing. Okay, so some of the examples of the amphibians, of course, are the frogs, toads, and salamander. So when they take advantage in the fresh water and new food sources. And these amphibians have to lay muna their eggs on the water, and then pag mag-mature na yung baby, they will be going up, no, to the land. And the next in the evolution process after 300 million years ago are the reptiles, no? So the reptiles evolved from the branch of amphibians, just like the lizards, snakes, and turtles. So they lay shell-covered eggs covered with dry scales. And they can live now far from water. So as compared, no, to the amphibians, the reptiles does not have to lay their young in watery environment because they already have eggs. And here, yung pinaka sa atin is the mammals, no? 180 million years ago, during the height of the age of dinosaurs, the new class of evolved from the one line of reptiles. So we came from reptiles too, no? In which they developed mammary glands to nurture the young, and eventually no longer lay eggs because the mother's body is the one that raised the young. Alright? And the humans emerged from the order of primates. Alright? And with the emergence of humankind, humans belong to the family of hominids, no? With the genus Homo and of course Sapiens as the species. And the first Homo species actually emerged from Australopithecus 2 million years ago. And us, no, na mga Homo sapiens, we just emerged 200,000 years ago. Okay? And there are a lot of history that we had until we came into Homo sapiens. So I wanted you to read that, no, and to familiarize. I hope you had your advanced reading for this. Okay? And now, looking into what human evolution is all about, no, we can say that evolution proceed in a single line because yung magandang analogy nga dito is it's like a dense bush, no? Kasi merong nag-overlap, no? It's not linear na, okay, after ng vertebrates, the chordates, next na yung amphibians, etc., etc. Because we know naman, until now, no, we are existing together. Humans have only been around for a brief period of time, no, 200,000 years ago lang. And only a fewer than 1% of all known species are still in existence because nga there were a lot of environmental reasons for this. And evolution is a thinker, not an architect. Kasi nga, sometimes it doesn't happen gradually. Most of the times, it happens, no, suddenly. Okay? Just like yung ice age, tapos nag-cooling yung earth. Those things. That's why only fewer than 1% yung nag-survive na species. And not all existing behaviors or structures are adaptive. So just like the belly button, which we call spondrels, no? It doesn't have any function, but it's there. Then, not all existing adaptive characteristics evolve to perform their current function. So, for example, we have the bird's wing, no? So, it evolved to do another thing, which is to fly. And the similarities among species do not necessarily mean that the species have common origin. So, parehong for flying, no, yung wings ng bees and yung birds, pero it doesn't really mean that they come from same origin. Okay, so these are the technical terms for that, no? Homologous structures, the similar structures due to common evolutionary origin, just like what I said earlier, na our hands and our hands and also the bird's wing of the same structure, so it is said that we have common origin. Analogous structures, no? Similar structures without a common origin. So, yeah. Okay, so skeletal structure that suggest common ancestor. And lastly, we have convergent evolution, the evolution of similar solutions to the same environmental demands by unrelated species. So, the same example earlier na yung bird's wing and the bee's wing. Okay? Alright, so now let's move on to the evolution of the human brain. So, it is necessary that brain size and intelligence is no relationship because our brain size is correlated with the body size. So, it doesn't mean na malaki yung ulo niya, intelligent siya. Kasi even the elephants have big brain size, but we have lesser, no, or smaller brains, pero we are more intelligent than them. We can do more complex things than them. So, mas maganda if we will look into the relative size of different brain regions. So here, it was emphasized, no, yung cerebrums in yellow and brainstems in purple. So we know that cerebrums are for complex, no, na adaptive mechanisms, and we have the brainstems. These are for the more on the survival, no, na mode ng mga reflexes. So just like yung example ng cerebrums is for the cerebral activities are learning, which you are doing right now, perception and motivation. On the other hand, for the brain stems, yung heart rate, respiration, and blood glucose levels. So what can we get from this? No, the human brain has increased in size during the evolution. So we have seen in the evidences earlier na the skull size of the earlier humans are smaller as compared to the modern human, no, the sapiens. So we can say that there's really an increase in the size, and majority happened in the cerebrum, no, yung increase ng size. So if we will compare kanina, no, ito, sige, tingnan mo yung base saka yung person. Yung base, mas malaki yung reflex, yung brainstem niya for reflex kasi yun yung mas ginagamit niya to survive. However, us human beings, we use our intellect, no, for this. And yun, increased convolutions of the cerebrum to increase the volume of the cerebral cortex. Alright. So, that's it for the brain, no, how it evolved. Now, let's go to a more applied, no, na topic. So, yung mate bonding. Most of the species mate promiscuously, and most of those mammals na nagpo-form ng polygynous mating bonds are males, no? But there are also females, polyandrous relationships naman yun. Mainly if, for example, yung mga seahorses, kasi the ones that take care, no, of hatching of the eggs are the males. So, we can see here na kung sino yung mas lesser yung energy and time na magte-take care ng young, more likely to have polygynous or multiple, no, na mating bonds from being promiscuous. However, for human beings, what we usually do is monogamous bonds. Kasi, it is more adaptive, no? Kasi, we know as mammals, no, hindi naman pareho dun sa sa seahorses that they lay eggs. So, they lay a lot of eggs kasi mas mababa yung survival rate. However, for human beings, we have just a few, but we need to, at matagal pa, di ba? Matagal pa yung interval. So, we really need to have monogamous relationship or bonds kasi mas maalagaan talaga yung children and higher survival rate. So, there's lesser also hassle, kumbaga, on providing, no, for the families. Okay, so let's look into the current, no, na mga studies about human bonding, mate bonding in humans, as predicted by the evolutionary theory. So it's men daw tend to value indications of fertility. So this is very necessary kasi, 'di ba? They would like na mas maraming offspring yung masasire nila or yung mabubuo nila to also continue their life, their family life. However, women tend to value power and earning capacity kasi they're the ones who take care of the young in their womb, right? So, more or less, if there's a stable, no, na income and more provisions, no, the higher the survival rate of their children. So, and during the prehistoric times, no, being the leader of the tribe means na mas marami yung nag-protect sa kanila. Next, physical attractiveness predicts which women bond with men of high status. So the more beautiful or prettier the person is, the woman is, the more that she will select men of high status. So as explained earlier. And mate attraction strategies for women is physical attraction. For men naman, it's displaying power and resources. Okay, so it was explained earlier. Men are more likely than women to commit adultery. Kasi nga, just like in the previous na explanation ko, the lesser that you are to take care, no, of the young or the children, the lesser the chance na you will really the more chance rather that to have a polygamous relationship. Alright, so now we will test yourself. Okay, so same instructions as the first chapter, no? So answer with honesty, and then I will be reading the question and then you answer after. You might I will pause this, okay? Number 1. Physiological or psychological thinking was given official recognition in the 17th century when the Roman Church officially supported blank. Cartesian Dualism. That's correct. Mammals are thought to have evolved from blank about 180 million years ago. The correct answer is reptiles. Blank are the closest living relatives of humans. They have about 99% of same genetic material as humans. You already saw it. I hope you did not really take attention to that. The correct answer is chimpanzees. So I hope you are able to study first, no, review or read the chapter. Next, one of the points of the evolution of the human brain is that most of the increase in size has occurred in the blank. Alright, it's correct. It's the cerebrum. Blank is a mate bonding pattern in which enduring bonds are formed between one male and one female. That's correct. It's monogamy. Alright, so I will cut the video for now because it's already many minutes, no? So that we will have lesser hassle in uploading this. So please go to we will have the next part later.